believe that what the Lagos state government is doing is to start with what it considers to be the softer of the targets, the Lekki-Ikoyi link bridge. So as at this point in time, we're speaking specifically to the bridge itself, the toll on the bridge. But I don't know what I might have dealt with before I came in. Well, let me quickly put something on the record. The tolling on Lekki-Ikoyi bridge is unlawful, and it is in contempt of a judgment of the Federal High Court. The Court of Appeal struck out the appeal filed by Lagos State in 2017. As at today, there is no legal basis whatsoever for the tolling that they are threatening to commence on the bridge. I am not speaking to the venue of the massacre now, because they have not come forth to say that they are going to commence tolling there, even though we expect that they will eventually, after having tested the water with this particular bridge, they will eventually get to the main road. But the point is this: if we are a state governed by law, which we are not, and we have said this severally, we are essentially a criminal enterprise, either as a country or as a state. There is no legal basis for tolling. In 2014, Ebonlu Adegborua, SAN, God bless him, filed a suit against Lagos State government before the Federal High Court, and he obtained a judgment which clearly pronounced the tolling illegal and unlawful. Lagos State government proceeded to get a stay of execution, and it then went on appeal. That appeal has been thrown out of the court. Not only was the appeal thrown out, the court ordered that it be deleted from the record. So there is nothing upon which to place a stay of execution today. So the insistence by Sanwo-Olu and his sugar daddy, for that matter, on tolling that bridge is essentially contemptuous of the people who live in that environment and completely contemptuous of the court that have pronounced this illegality. So when the government talks about the maintenance of peace, the question should be asked: must peace be maintained at the expense of justice? If a court, because if you are saying that we have gone to court, a court has pronounced that what you are doing is unlawful, but you insist on doing it, and you have the apparatus of state behind you, what we are then seeing is a situation where the biggest criminal in this space is the government. So when there is violence, let us be clear as to exactly who has brought that violence. Lagos State government is the one that is acting criminally. And those who preach peace to the oppressed would do well to lend themselves some intelligence. When a state insists on going against the law, it is the one that is inviting violence. So I hope I have answered your question. Thank you. Put it this way: a man comes to my doorstep and he defecates, and I pick up a stick and I break his head, and you say I'm violent. It's not an ultimatum, it's a statement of fact. Lagos State government is acting unlawfully, it is engaged in a criminal enterprise, and it is a duty to resist that. What it elects to do is its business. If it cares to take it as an ultimatum, let it take it as an ultimatum. I will not assist it in breaking the law when I use that bridge. They may go ahead and arrest me, but I will not pay toll in that place because it is unlawful to pay toll there. The government might as well bring a gun like an armed robber and demand that it be paid. That would be a different ball game. But it has no law behind which to work. There is an SAN sat as the Attorney General of this state. Can't he explain the law to them if they don't know the law? The law is clear. There is no appeal today And the pronouncement of the court is not ambiguous. Let them address that and then tell me the basis for continuing to demand that we must pay. Let us forget the fact that, we can't even forget it, the fact that human lives were taken in that place and all in pursuit of the right to continue to toll unlawfully. Was that the only place people were protesting? How come it's the only place massacres were held? Because some people were pissing in somebody's soup pot. That was what happened. So please, there is a moral duty to resist that tolling. So if it will be taken as an ultimatum, let it be taken as one.
Last week there were rumors, or with the commenced the test phase of the tolling, there were rumors that there will be a protest on the 15th, that is on Saturday. We would like to know, because I have spoken.
16, Saturday is 16, yeah.
So there will be a protest on 16. I remember I spoke to EIE. She confirmed that people were actually going to come out to resist. We would like to know here now, because she and other parties is a party to this very brief. Is this still going to stand?
When we have come to that bridge, we shall cross it. If you have been told that by Yemi, then Yemi will know exactly what she is saying. But let me say that sometimes it's best we keep them guessing, isn't it? We are not going to announce the time and place. But the one thing you can be sure of, we shall resist this tolling. Take that to the bank. We shall resist this tolling. Lagos State can bring its multitude of armed thugs and policemen who are devoid of brain, acting without the law behind them. That's fine. It wouldn't be the first time they'll be breaking heads on that bridge and at the toll gates, and I'm sure it wouldn't be their first time of killing. They even picked up one of your type when they were starting, the gentleman from Channels.
Yes.
So if the MD of LCC would order the assault and battery of a pressman going about his lawful duties, imagine what they would do to peaceful protesters. So you see, we're in a situation where the capacity to bring clarity to the space will be dependent on the readiness of observers to open their eyes and do the right thing, report what you see. You as pressmen have a duty, you actually have a duty to determine the veracity of what I have just told you. If we say we are a nation ruled by law, which we are not, but they continue to pretend that we are, how do you explain a situation where a court of law has ruled, gave a judgment 8 years ago, 2014 to be exact, that the tolling on that bridge is unlawful? And we are still talking about tolling in the contempt this government has for the people of Lagos State, particularly those trapped in the Lekki axis. The contempt is galling in the extreme. Few months to the election, and a government actually has the balls to be demanding that we pay a toll that is unlawful in the extreme, in the face of the resistance of the people who live in the environment. So please, when we come to that bridge, we will cross it. But the one thing that is certain, it will be resisted.
Yeah, so, okay.
There's only one bridge. There are 2 toll gates. The unfortunate thing for us in Lekki is that, and I'm speaking as a resident of Lekki, my office is in Lekki, my home is in Lekki. Every time I step out of my home, I have to pay. It's not enough that extortion of all sorts happens. Now they are putting their hands in our pockets, scaly hands in our pockets. So when you talk about which of them, there are 2. There is you can't come out of Lekki without paying. There is a toll gate where the massacre took place, and there is one on top of the bridge. Oh, and yes, they have another one that they had finished building years ago that they plan to make operational if we are stupid enough to accept this slavery, the one at Chevron.
Yeah.
The only thing we see in Lekki are toll gates. That's all we see. Not 1 square inch of pipe water. not 1 square inch. In 22 years of the hegemony of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos State, not a single school added in the entire Lekki axis. Classroom capacity has not been increased by 1 class. They will tell all kinds of lies about what kind of schools they are building here, and there is a lie. May God send their children to private schools because they are just hiring the room in the public schools. Look, the situation is dire, but it is particularly assisted by our readiness to bend over, which has to stop at some point. And it's stopping now. That toll gate, we will resist it. We will resist it. They can do whatever they care to do. We will resist it.
So we are referring to the vote.
Well, as at this point, they have not informed us they are reopening the one where they murdered untold numbers. But they are telling us they want to open the one on the bridge. That's the one on the link bridge. So that's the one we are addressing at this time. The,
Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Omotosho, the Commissioner for Information, has already spoken with Arise TV on why the Lekki toll gate, the opening of the Lekki toll gate is inevitable. But they are not really specific on when they will be starting, but although they are specific concerning...
which one is inevitable, the tolling or the reopening?
I
know the tolling of the, so he says it's inevitable that they must toll. Well, Omotosho is saying exactly what he would say or should say, given the office he occupies.
Okay, he said reopening. Yeah.
Yes, if it's just the reopening, if he's reopening the toll gate, we are also saying that just as he believes that it is inevitable that it will be tolled, we are also saying that it is inevitable that it will be resisted. It will be resisted because what he wants to do is illegal. It is contemptuous of the court, and it is beyond contempt for those who live in that environment. So we have a duty to resist him. When I was coming, I saw multitudes queuing to pay to pick up the e-tags. We can't stop those who will pay. It's their right to do so. But there would always be those of us crazy enough to stand and say, no, we are not paying because we don't hold this money. We pay our taxes. That company is owned 100% by Lagos State. There is a court judgment saying that tolling on that bridge is unlawful. Why should we still be discussing this? Dagbenga Omotosho, in the face of a clear pronouncement of the court, is insisting on collection of toll, should let you know exactly how much impunity reigns in the country that we are living in. This country purports to be a democracy, but it is not ruled by law. There is a court judgment. Let them fault that. So on what basis does Benga Omotosho continue to insist that there must be tolling? The people who live there have told you they don't want tolling. The law courts have told you you cannot toll. But you continue to insist that it is inevitable. Inevitable because of what? So what made it inevitable for that tolling to happen, according to them, is what also makes it inevitable for us to resist it. What they do is their business. What we do is our business. If there are no longer laws in this society, let us all know. Fair enough.